Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United. Now I am going to be giving you some news on Federico Valverde, who currently plays for Real Madrid. Also going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Koulibaly, and there's lots of other things to talk about. As you all know, I do my transfer daily shows. So we will start with the news on Federico Valverde. So according to the Spanish press, Manchester United have expressed an interest in the player. Now, he is 21 years of age, is Federico Valverde. He is Uruguayan, so he is still very, very young. He is predominantly a central midfielder, but I think he can also operate as an attacking midfielder, and he can also play as a holding midfielder. Now, reportedly, Real Madrid have said, they are not determined to sell the player. He does have a release clause of around 500 million euros, which equates to around 450 million in pounds sterling. So Real Madrid have basically said Manchester United have got to trigger his 450 million pound release clause. Now, if this was to currently happen, it would smash the world transfer record of Neymar's move to Barcelona from PSG back in 2017, because that was around £200 million. Don't forget Kylian Mbappe went to PSG in a deal worth around £166 million. So do you think Federico Valverde would be a great addition to the squad if he was to come to Manchester United? Now obviously Real Madrid have lost the likes of Dani Ceballos and also to Mateo Kovacic in recent years. So obviously, reflecting on that, Valverde has been given more of a role at Real Madrid. But like I mentioned, he is only at the age of 21 is the player. And I think he has got a contract with Real Madrid until 2025. He is a former Penarol player, where he actually began his youth career. He was in their youth setup for several years. But obviously, Manchester United have got quite a few midfielders on their agenda, and we are looking for a replacement for Paul Pogba and that. But I've heard a lot of United fans talking about Federico Valverde, and they do believe he would be a great addition to the squad and probably would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. We need basically, someone to partner up with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield, and that's what Manchester United are looking for, because Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. I think he's got like 4 goals and about, 3 assists or something like that? Or 3 goals, 4 assists, sorry. But Bruno Fernandes is making the difference in the team. He's very instrumental, and his decision making is very, very good. But we just need someone to partner up with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. And no doubt, Paul Pogba, would partner up well with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. But I think quite a lot of people have got doubts about Pogba and Bruno Fernandes playing together in our midfield. And, is there a possibility, chance that, there could be a swap deal here? Federico Valverde coming to Man United and Paul Pogba going to Real Madrid. So then we wouldn't have to trigger his £450 million release clause. Now, but a lot of our midfielders have really, really improved. Like I mentioned, I think, Fred's done really, really well. Obviously, enjoyed a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. Never really got his opportunities, but this season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he has been given his opportunities. He's relished these opportunities, and he's been a standout player for Man United. He was good during his time in Ukraine, was Fred. And Man United did pay around, was it £50 million for the player in total. I've also got to credit McTominay, because he's also done very, very well. He's played well alongside Fred in our midfield this season. So I've got to give him a lot of credit. McTominay's just come back from injury. And also to Matic, he's recently rejuvenated himself. And he's a backup to Fred and McTominay's Matic, but, he's done well. Man United, don't forget, the other week triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. Matic is now into his 3rd season at Manchester United. But despite how good our midfielders have done recently, Manchester United still need to get at least one midfielder in the summer transfer window on that. So I'd like to know your perceptions on Federico Valverde from Real Madrid. Now, as you all know, there is uncertainty over Paul Pogba's future. Now, Graham Souness has come out and spoken about Paul Pogba yet again. He's given his verdict on Pogba. Just like he did after our 1-1 draw with Everton earlier on in the season. He was basically, saying that Paul Pogba doesn't want to play for Manchester United again. And he's basically said that Paul Pogba is a doddle to play against in our midfield. So Graham Souness, has actually, criticised Paul Pogba. But yeah, there is uncertainty over his future. We don't know whether he's going to be staying or we don't know whether he's going to be going, Paul Pogba. But since he rejoined Manchester United from Juventus back in 2016, he has had a long-running transfer saga. Obviously, this year has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Last summer, he was subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Also, I enjoyed a very bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. And revert back to what I said in my other videos, I think if Mourinho would have still been here, Pogba, Martial, Shaw, they probably all would have been gone by now, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Now, obviously, it said the other day that Man United were going to open contract negotiations with Paul Pogba over extending his contract at the club until 2022, because as it stands at the moment, Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract, 1 year with an option of a further year. And don't forget, Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been talking a lot since the turn of the year. Don't forget he was coming out earlier on in the year saying that Paul Pogba is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's property. He did say his client's likely to leave if Man United fail to qualify for the Champions League. And he also criticised Gary Neville. The other week he came out and said that Pogba's having a complicated time at Man United. And, he wants to take a great footballer to Real Madrid. But I haven't really had a perception on Paul Pogba this season because he's seldom played. His appearances have been limited due to his injuries. Pogba's only played 8 times this season for Manchester United. The last game he did play was on Boxing Day in our 4-1 win against Newcastle. And the last time he started from the start was back in September. Now, Ed Woodward, of course, wants to get Paul Pogba's future resolved because Ed Woodward has been in contact with Paul Pogba's agent quite a few times to try and resolve his future and to basically stop Mini Raiola making public attacks against the club, because since the turn of the year, Mini Raiola has made a number of public attacks against Manchester United. Now, the other week, narratives were totally comparison to the ones that have been coming out recently regarding Pogba, because the other week it did say he was interested in staying at Manchester United and he was interested in extending his contract at the football club. And then basically Solskjaer reiterated then what he said. This was after the 5-0 win against Lask quite a few weeks ago now, and Solskjaer said that Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United next season and that. But United fans have got different perceptions on Paul Pogba. Some United fans would keep him and some United fans would get rid of him. We paid £89 million for him. He is our most expensive signing at the moment, and he's on around £300,000 a week at the football club, so he is one of the highest paid players. But I think, he's mainly enjoyed difficult times since he rejoined the club overall from Juventus back in 2016. The vast majority of his performances have been totally comparison to his ones in Turin, because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. But if Paul Pogba does leave this summer, he'll either make a move to Real Madrid, or if he doesn't go to Real Madrid, he will make a return back to Juventus, because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, like I mentioned. PSG and Barcelona have also inquired about his availability in the past. Like I mentioned, Juventus have recently come out and said they're willing to offer either Dybala or Panjanic, to get Paul Pogba from Man United. Also, would you like to see Aaron Ramsey come to Manchester United as part of a swap deal of Paul Pogba going to Juventus? Obviously, Aaron Ramsey has been at Juventus now for is it a year? Don't forget, Juventus got him on a free transfer from Arsenal back in, was it last summer if I'm right, yeah? Because Aaron Ramsey did enjoy 11 years with Arsenal, so he was a long-serving player for them. Made 262 appearances for them, scored 40 goals in the league, and in all competitions made over 300 appearances for Arsenal. And he is 29 years of age, is Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey is predominantly a box-to-box midfielder, but you can also put him on each flank, so he is very, very versatile. But he was a very, very good player at Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal got him from Cardiff for around £5 million, because he was in Cardiff's youth setup for around 8 years, was Aaron Ramsey. So yeah, there's still uncertainty over Pogba's future. But I was reading reports the other day and it said Man United are confident he will stay. because we're very sceptical that Real Madrid or Juventus will be able to finalise a deal for him, because I think it's quoted out that we want at least 100 million for Paul Pogba this summer. But that actual figure is totally comparison to last summer's figure, because last summer we wanted around £180 million, and that's just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus and that. But last summer Paul Pogba revealed that he wanted to leave the club. He said he was seeking for a new challenge, and publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the club, yeah. And he said earlier on this season that he told his teammates that he wanted to leave Manchester United. But even if Pogba doesn't leave this summer, at some point he will leave, definitely. Very, very sceptical from now. He will spend the entirety of his career with Manchester United. But as long as we can get a good adequate replacement for him, I'm not bothered about Paul Pogba leaving. So yeah, so that's the latest on that. So now we'll delve into news on Koulibaly from Napoli, like I've been keeping you up to date on a regular basis. So now, according to reports, Manchester United are willing to pay up to 76 million pounds for Koulibaly. Now, I think Napoli have confirmed that they would want in the 70 odd or 80 odd million pound range for him. Obviously, Man United paid 80 million pounds for Harry Maguire last summer. And obviously, he's our second most expensive signing, and he's the most expensive centre-half in the world. But basically, we're looking for someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. And if Koulibaly was to come in, that'd be sensational. I'd be excited about the prospect of Koulibaly and Harry Maguire playing in our back line. So we're going to have to pay a similar fee, or the exact same fee, for what we paid for Harry Maguire, if we've got any chances of getting Koulibaly. Now, reports emerged out a couple of days ago saying, Man United are now emerged as one of the favourites to sign him in the summer, and we have now moved ahead of Manchester City. Now, Koulibaly did tell the Napoli president, was it last week, that he does want to leave Napoli at the end of the season, especially if Napoli fail to qualify for the Champions League. Now, a few clubs have expressed their interest in Koulibaly. Now, he's a very, very good centre-half. He's nowhere near on the same level as Virgil van Dijk and that. But I'll still say he's probably in the top 5, top 6 as one of the best centre-halves in the world, Koulibaly. He's now into his, 6th season with Napoli. So he's been a long-serving player for them. Napoli, if they were to sell him, they'd make a huge profit on the player, because they only paid around £6 or £7 million for him from Genk, didn't they? He actually began his career with Metz. Koulibaly's got a contract with Napoli until 2023, and if I am right, I think he has got a release clause. But don't forget, Manchester United were relentlessly linked with Koulibaly last summer. I think we had a couple of bids turned down for him. I think we had a £95 million bid turned down for him. And then it said towards the back end of last summer's transfer window that Napoli, obviously, made it clear they weren't willing to sell him. They were ruthless over the player, and that they wanted around £150 million. And that obviously, then we dropped our interest, and that figure's double than what Liverpool paid for Virgil van Dijk. So, would you like to see Koulibaly come to Manchester United? I would, because his composure's good, his calmness is good, his distribution's very, very good. And, do you think he'd do really, really well in the Premier League? Do you think he'd be able to replicate what he's done during his time in Italy with Napoli? But as it stands at the moment, Man United have got a lot of centre-halves on there. We've got a lot of centre-halves in the team. Obviously we've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves at the moment. My perception on Lindelof is that I think he's a very, very good centre-half, Lindelof. He's nowhere near on the level of Koulibaly, Van Dijk or Harry Maguire and that, but still a pretty decent centre-half. And I think he's probably too good to be a backup, is Victor Lindelof. Now, Lindelof is in his 3rd season as a Manchester United player. Man United paid £30 million for him from Benfica back in 2017. He endured a difficult first season, did Lindelof, but I think last season and this season, a lot of aspects of his game have really, really improved. So Lindelof and Maguire are first choice centre-halves. Then you've got Bailly and Tuanzebe that are our backups. Bailly and Tuanzebe have just come back from injury. Bailly could still end up overcoming Victor Lindelof, because Bailly's a very, very good centre-half. His potential's very, very good in that. But my only element of concern about Bailly is that he is too injury prone. Also, Tuanzebe, I think he did well earlier on in the season. And obviously, you've got Luke Shaw, who's played as a centre-half quite a few times this season, even though he is predominantly a left-back and that. So we have got a lot of centre-halves in the team. So I think if Man United can sign Koulibaly, I think we are willing to let Chris Smalling leave Manchester United on a permanent transfer, because Chris Smalling at the moment is on loan with Roma, and I've got to say I think he's done really, really well so far in Italy as Chris Smalling. Obviously, there's been talks about him coming back to the Premier League after his loan spell with Roma. Arsenal reportedly put a £25 million bid in. The likes of Spurs, Leicester and Everton the other week had expressed their interest in Chris Smalling. It did say there was a slight chance he could still possibly come back to Manchester United, but I'm very, very sceptical about it. If Roma fail to qualify for the Champions League, then maybe Smalling, will either come back to United or he'll, go to another Premier League club. But yeah, he's done really, really well, so give him a lot of credit. And Chris Smalling did endure 9 years at Manchester United, so he was a long-serving player for the club. Don't forget, we got Chris Smalling under the Alex Ferguson era. We got him from Fulham, was it, back in 2010. We only paid, didn't we, a couple of £1 million for him. He made his debut in the 3-1 win against Chelsea in the Community Shield. And I think he made over 200 appearances for the club in the Premier League, did Smalling. But if we can get Koulibaly, we don't need to see Smalling come back. Obviously, Phil Jones, he's going to be one player that's going to be sold in the summer. He's another centre-half we've got, but like I mentioned, Phil Jones doesn't get in the team. Phil Jones has been a long servant here now. He's now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player, is Phil Jones. But yeah, I think, he's one player that Man United will get rid of. So that's the latest on that. So I want to know your perceptions on it. But I think, the signings that Manchester United are likely to make in the summer, Jadon Sancho. Now, it's looking very, very imminent. He's going to be coming to Manchester United in the summer. Now, as you all know, that Jadon Sancho has revealed his preference is a move to Manchester United over Chelsea. Now, he's explained the reason why his preference is moved to Man United over Chelsea. Now, Borussia Dortmund have already quoted out how much it will cost Manchester United to get Jadon Sancho, and he is going to cost us at least £100 million. Maybe Man United could end up paying around £120 million for his services, but either figure will make him our most expensive signing, and it will make him a record signing in the Premier League, Jadon Sancho. Now, obviously, like I mentioned, a few clubs have been in for him: Chelsea, Liverpool, Madrid, PSG, but he just wants to make the move to Manchester United. Now, don't forget, Man United are willing to give him the iconic number 7, and like I've said, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations, and, I think Jadon Sancho is capable of following them footsteps. Well, the recent number 7 we had wasn't so good, I think the last 7 we had was Alexis Sanchez. The last number 7 we had was Alexis Sanchez. Don't forget we had Memphis Depay. He wasn't so good at Manchester United. But we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations and that. But yeah, like I mentioned, Jadon Sancho would be a great addition to the squad. He's a very, very good player, is Jadon Sancho, and he's now into his 3rd season at Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, he was dropped in quite a lot of games earlier on in the season, but analysing it, I think since his arrival in Germany, he has been a revelation for Borussia Dortmund. He's been a revelation for Borussia Dortmund as Jadon Sancho. And, Borussia Dortmund will look at it from a financial point of view, and they'll go, look, he's an imperative player, but we're going to make a huge profit on the player. Because Dortmund only paid £7 or £8 million in from Man City back in 2017, and that's the beneficial thing is as well. He's played in the Premier League, but he never really got any first-team opportunities in his couple of years with City, and that's the main explanation why he did leave Manchester City, Jadon Sancho. Now, obviously, Fabrizio Romano the other week, he broke out the news, and he says that Man United have been in contact with Jadon Sancho's agent for at least a couple of months. Also, too, we are working on his contract. Now, I do believe that we'll probably give him the exact same amount as what Rashford's on, because Rashford is on around 200 grand a week at the club. And he said before that we was willing to give Jadon Sancho around £200,000 a week. Duncan Castles broke out the news last month, and he said, Man United are emerged as the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer. And the Borussia Dortmund chefs come out and they said Man United have beaten Liverpool and Chelsea to the signing of Jadon Sancho. Another main explanation why Sancho's interested in coming is because obviously, he's aware of, the impact that Martial's made. He's an admirer of him. He also likes Mason Greenwood, and don't forget he's also got a fantastic friendship with Marcus Rashford because they are both English. Jadon Sancho, don't forget, has just recently turned 20 years of age, and he's got around 2 years left on his contract with Borussia Dortmund. But Borussia Dortmund have come to accept the fact that, he will be leaving at the end of the season. This got reported out by Sky in Germany, was it last month and that. So hopefully, we can get Jadon Sancho on the board because he is predominantly a right winger, and Man United need a right winger and occasionally can play centrally. But I think he would complement our attacking line really, really well with Jadon Sancho. He'd go well alongside the likes of, James, Martial, Greenwood. He'd go really, really well alongside our attacking players. And Jadon Sancho is a player that can score goals, he can create chances, his runs on and off the ball are very, very good. Not only that, he would fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly, because Solskjaer's confirmed he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United. And I think a lot of young players across the globe are excited about, Solskjaer's transfer strategy and that. But with the main explanation why we didn't get Sancho last year is because we failed to qualify for the Champions League. And definitely, that is an ambition for Manchester United, is getting qualification for the Champions League for next season. So we can recruit the right players into the club in the summer. But don't forget, Solskjaer did reveal that he thinks we need around 3 signings in the summer to become title contenders next season. And we've got to address the deficiencies in the squad without a shadow of a doubt. It does still remain unknown whether Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager next season. I think if Manchester United can get qualification for the Champions League, then definitely we'll be given another season at the football club. If we don't get qualification for the Champions League, then maybe it could be axed at the end of the season. But don't forget, he's making plans for the summer, which is good. Solskjaer's got the backing of Ed Woodward. He's also got the backing of the Glazers, and also quite a lot of the players are still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because it is a transition period and that. And like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period. But there's still lots to sort out and that. So yeah, we need to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer. And like I've said to Man United have got quite a few strikers on their agenda. We've got quite a few strikers on their agenda, yeah. And, we definitely need a centre forward because basically we need an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because don't forget he joined Inter Milan last summer for £70 million. And I am aware of the impact that Odi Ighalo has made, and I've got to give Odi Ighalo my credit because he has made a really, really good impact. And obviously he's confounded his critics wrong, because when we got him on deadline day on loan, everyone was saying it was a panic buy by Manchester United, but he's proved everyone wrong so far. Odi Ighalo has got 4 goals in 3 starts for the football club, and he's totally comparison to our other attacking players. But like I mentioned, there's an option of a different type of centre forward. His hold-up play is very, very good, and I think it's probably more than likely that Man United will end up getting Odi Ighalo on a permanent transfer, because Solskjaer did recently make this admission. Now, it has been revealed how much it will cost Man United to get Odi Ighalo on a permanent transfer. It will cost us around £15 million to get him on a permanent transfer. We've paid around 3 or 4 million to get him on loan, and Man United are paying a third of his wages. It's probably likely that we'll extend Odi Ighalo's loan until June the 30th due to the coronavirus pandemic, because his current loan spell ends with the club on May the 31st and that. But I've got to give Odi Ighalo all my credit. But Manchester United still need another centre forward in there. Ighalo is a good cover-up to Marcus Rashford though, because Marcus Rashford is out with a back injury, and he's been out with this back injury since the Wolves game in the FA Cup. And Solskjaer did make the mistake by playing Marcus Rashford in that game. If he obviously hadn't played him, probably this injury wouldn't have occurred. But he has been a big miss as Rashford, because I think he's been one of our best players when he was fit earlier on in the season. And since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016, Rashford, he has become an integral part of our team, and he's been a United player since the age of 7 as Rashford. But revert back to what I said about Ighalo, maybe we may not get him on a permanent move, because like I mentioned, I was reading Sky Sports and a few other media outlets the other day, and they said that his parent club, Shanghai Shenhua, have offered him a £400,000 a week They've offered him £400,000 a week before tax, plus a 2-year contract extension to convince him to turn down a permanent move. But maybe it won't change his perception. Maybe he still will want to remain at Manchester United. Will Odin Igalo on that. So yeah, so that's the latest on that. But there's been a few strikes on our agenda. I updated you yesterday, didn't I, on the news regarding Griezmann. I've also been keeping up to date on the news of Harry Kane recently, Aubameyang, Timo Werner. So what striker would you like to see Manchester United sign in the summer transfer window on that? But, so far, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, he spent, £220 million in 3 transfer windows. Solskjaer didn't recruit anyone in his first transfer window, but in the 2 previous windows, he has recruited 5 players into the football club. So that's one thing I do credit Solskjaer for. Like I mentioned, a lot of players have left since his arrival. Around 9 players have left in total. We saw Ashley Young leave this year after he endured 8.5 years at Manchester United. Of course, we saw Rojo go out on loan to Estudiantes. It's likely we'll negotiate on getting rid of him on a permanent transfer. Obviously, Fellaini left back in January 2019. He was the first player to leave under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. He endured 6 years at Man United, yeah. We saw Herrera leave last summer. We saw Darmian leave last summer. We saw Lukaku go. And we saw Alexis Sanchez go out on loan to Inter Milan. Now, I'm very, very sceptical that Sanchez will come back to Manchester United from his loan spell with Inter Milan. Solskjaer did actually say back in January that Sanchez will be coming back in the summer to prove everybody wrong, but now this is not going to happen. But, we need to get rid of Sanchez on a permanent transfer, basically to clear up our wage bill completely, because his wages were having a really bad effect on the club, and even though he's on loan at Inter Milan, Man United are still paying the vast majority of his wages. But Sanchez did endure a difficult 18 months with Man United, so we'll try and get rid of him on a permanent transfer. Dean Henderson's coming back to the club, I think, after his loan spell with Sheffield United, and there's been reports saying that he could become our number 1 goalkeeper. That means then David De Gea will lose his place in the team, and possibly David De Gea could be moved on in the summer, believe it or not. So a lot of players have left since Solskjaer's arrival. I think Lingard and Pereira are 2 liabilities, and it's more than certain that they will go in the summer transfer window. Lingard's found game time difficult since Bruno Fernandes came in, and Pereira's found game time difficult since Scott McTominay come back. So they're 2 players that need to be moved on. Like I mentioned, Jones needs to go, and all that. So yeah, players will definitely leave Manchester United in the summer. But like I said to you yesterday, yesterday was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 1-year anniversary as permanent Manchester United manager. And I did pinpoint out some of the positives from his tenure so far, and I also pinpointed some of the negatives from his tenure so far. And I've already gone through the positives with you. One good positive is that, Solskjaer's, he's got a lot of trustworthy in his young players. I think he really has promoted the youth well, and the young players have been given their opportunities this season. The likes of Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, Tuanzebe, they've all been given their chances. James Garner, I think, needs to be given more opportunities next season. A lot of Man United fans are saying he should be given more opportunities next season. Angel Gomez, he's also seldom played this season under Solskjaer. He's seldom played this season under Solskjaer as Angel Gomez. The main explanation is because there's uncertainty over his future. Don't forget, Manchester United recently offered Angel Gomez a new contract with around £30,000 a week, plus with an option of a 3rd year. So a 2-year offer with an option of a 3rd year. Now, obviously, our previous offer was £25,000 a week, but Angel Gomez was not satisfied about this. But don't forget, recently Chelsea have expressed their interest in the player. They've expressed their interest in Angel Gomez. But I think, Solskjaer does believe that Angel Gomez's future does lie with the football club. Angel Gomez has been in our senior squad since 2017. He's only managed 10 first-team appearances, and six of those appearances have come this season. And he's got around 3 months left on his contract as Angel Gomez. But he's been a United player since the age of 8, and he is now, 19 years of age is the player. But when Solskjaer going to be convinced to give Angel Gomez more opportunities? But yeah, we've offered Angel Gomez a new contract. He actually became the youngest player to represent Man United since Duncan Edwards back in the 1950s. became the first player born in the 2000s to make a Premier League appearance. Also to Diego Dalot, don't really have a perception on him at the moment because he's sustained a few injuries this season. You know, he's a backup to Wan-Bissaka is Diego Dalot. And I think Man United have got the youngest team in the Premier League this season. Youngest team in the Premier League this season. So that's definitely no positive you can take. Obviously, Solskjaer got the job permanently, reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that, like I mentioned, won his first 8 games, won 14 out of 19 in all competitions, and that was enough to give him the job permanently. The negative is that, you know, since Solskjaer did get the job on a permanent basis, his record has been disastrous. But there again, his record was disastrous at Cardiff, and Solskjaer began his managerial career with Cardiff. He only enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff and that. But, you know, recently we've done really, really well. To be fair, you know, we're unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. In this 11-game unbeaten run, we've won 8, we've drawn 3. I think we've won 8, we've drawn 3, we've scored around 29 goals, kept 9 clean sheets and only conceded 2. So that is a positive you can take in that. So hopefully when the season does eventually resume, we can continue this good run of form. But analyse it towards the back end of last season, we'd lost 5 of our last 9 Premier League games. So that was also, you know, very, very disappointing in that. But Solskjaer is still under pressure to keep this good run of form up. We've still got 2 years left in his contract, but I'm still very sceptical that he is the long-term solution for Manchester United. Give him at least another season. If it doesn't work out next season, then get rid of him. I think if Solskjaer goes, it's probably likely that Mauricio Pochettino will replace him. But we haven't only had problems with the management this season, have we? There's been various issues throughout the course of this season with the club's ownership and Ed Woodward, etc., etc. But yeah, also positive that we've done well against the big 6 sides this season. That's also another positive you can take. But yeah. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.